City. Hey, welcome back, folks. Welcome back from the Queen City, Radio City. This city that I am in, where it is warm as all get out. Yeah, we're well, actually, that's not true. It got a little cooler. So I shouldn't say that. I forgot there was a thunderstorm, but it's doing pretty well overall. We're not in that freezing cold winter thing anymore, moving towards spring and then summer. And that's kind of cool. Republicans still being terrible. But if you may have seen an important story that I highlighted, we will talk about how House Republicans, some of whom are even rooting for their side to lose today. As you know, there are three big elections, two special elections in the House, one of them for that genius Walz, who is NSA now and likes to add random reporters to plans of attack sent to him by the oft drunk, always obnoxious head of the Defense Department. I can't even believe I'm saying that. His open seat, and that's a plus 14 seat, and they're worried about it. I'm not kidding you. The reason why Elise Stefanik was pulled back from the UN, besides being an annoying cretin, and no, I don't think that was the real reason, though it should have been, is that her seat is only plus 9 in New York. And I think they were looking at, I know they were looking at polling and they were going to lose. We're back to the future, folks. So in other words, we're in a time loop. We went back in the DeLorean to 2017, 18, 19, when America acted like idiots, elected Donald Trump, realized it, and said, oh, crap, we're going to elect Democrats, even in places where Democrats never actually win. I happen to see Kathleen Matthews. Good morning from the Oregon coast. I hope it's beautiful out there. I bet it is. Excuse me. Don't know if the flu is gone. I feel great. And yet that cough, I think it's going to be like old luggage. I won't be able to get rid of it for a long time. But the other one, the Matt Gaetz seats is plus 19 Republican. That's the equivalent of when Doug Jones won in Alabama. Maybe not quite that, but not far off. If we win that seat, I think, honestly, maybe just they should shut down Congress and just declare it entirely Democratic. I'm not thinking we're going to win that one, but the plus 14 one, apparently we have a really good shot at. And there's the Wisconsin Supreme Court seat, which you probably know from the thumbnail I put together so nicely for you all that I hope you enjoyed, of that blockhead looking like a cheesehead, Elon Musk. And that is why that's our main story today, because House Republicans are now having open conversations about how they hope they lose, which is insane, because if they lose today, they would lose the House. So both seats, I don't know how that works out for them. But hey, I'm not them. I believe in weird things like basic math and science and history, and past can predict the future, and that gravity is still out there, and, strange crap. So I don't know. Maybe they want to lose the House. Maybe some have just given up. I've given up on them. Maybe they've given up on them too. It is a really interesting story, though. So they're pissed as hell at Elon. Already it's been announced he's leaving Doge, but they want him out of the White House. They want him gone because they're stuck with Donald Trump. They rode in on his coattails because, again, he is, for some reason, I will never understand that weird fake celebrity bling, you're fired thing, whatever, and makes the kind of obnoxious jokes that people on the right love. He has a personality if you're a conservative and can look past all of the just cruel, obnoxious, vain, disgusting, crapping his own diaper and all the rest of it, which apparently they can, unless they're within 10 feet of him. Whereas if you do compare him to other Republicans, if you've seen J.D. Vance try to make a joke or order donuts, Elon Musk try to talk with another human, Ted Cruz try to make jokes from The Simpsons, thinking he was funny as Mr. Burns, Josh Hawley, who runs, Tom Cotton, who just has a resting bitch face. You see, they're not really a likable bunch. And even though Donald Trump isn't likable to, I would say, normal humans, he's got this weird, obnoxious charisma thing. So they hitched themselves to him and they won because of him. So they have to live with his stupidity. Tariffs. Yay, Liberation Day is coming. That's going to work great for them. If you're not shorting stuff in the stock market, by the way, I'm not a professional giving advice, but you may want to protect your money. And so I've even got a story on that too. A really interesting story. A American worker, freelancer, great job, everything. Just got told he was being fired, and they said your performance is great. You're doing well. You're American, so we're firing you because of your president. And I'm not kidding you. So now, not only do we have Americans being fired because Trump's a moron and having people deported and having people fired in government, which then Elon Musk is, of course, been the one who's been going and doing the firing, not only firing all sorts of people that we need to do things like track infectious diseases that make you die within a day, like Ebola, or airplanes so they land not on top of another airplane or get hit by part of the debris falling off of a SpaceX rocket that inevitably blew up, or the people that watch the nukes. Right now, we doing all that, but now Americans are being fired by foreign countries as retribution for our president. I was almost thinking of leading with that story. Canada has taken out their whoop-ass stick against us. This was Canadians who fired this guy. And this is a whole nother dimension that we never think about. We have 230, 40, 50, I don't even remember. 300 million? No, how many people do we have in this stupid country? I'm having one of those weird blank moments. No, we have over 300 million, 330, right? 250, what am I? Thinking we're in Malaysia or something. And so we have more people. Canadians don't really rely on us for work. They have like an eighth of our population. We have people that need to work for Canadian companies, and it looks like they may just start firing Americans in addition to purposely putting tariffs on things that will hurt red states the most. Good in that way. But that's what this idiot has brought us to. So Republicans in the House already realized they're screwed because of that. But on top of that, Elon Musk is such a jackass, is such an idiot, is so profoundly unlikable, so profoundly the guy that you knew in high school that you just wanted to beat the snot out of. Not that I'm advocating that kind of thing. That they're doing everything possible in the House hoping to get rid of him because they're looking. Maybe it's sort of they hope they lose the battle to win the war. They're going to lose both. But, hey, maybe we lose the seat this time or something, it gets worse. And then we get rid of Musk and then we'll improve before the midterms. They won't. They've already done so much damage to their reputation. They've already turned so many MAGA voters against them. They've already got so many government workers who are pissed as hell. They're looking already at a disaster, which may start this year. It'll be very interesting because we almost never have 3 Senate races on the ballot in major states, not just anywhere, but big states in an off year, all of which voted Republican in the last election, 2 by pretty decent margins. Sadly, the state I'm sitting in, Ohio, and also Florida, with Vance and Rubio gone, and then Ossoff because of the way the special election got set up, I don't even know, in Georgia. If we win all 3 of those, or even 2 of those 3, and that will depend somewhat on candidates. Does Sherrod Brown run again? He's in his early 70s. I would love him to run again because I think he would. People forget, the votes that came in later, provisional ballots, all that stuff, because Republicans sort of stopped people from voting. We lost this state by over 11 points. Kamala did, and Sherrod only lost it by 3, like 3.3 or 3.4 or something. He outperformed the top of the ticket by 8 points. What I'm trying to tell you is when Donald Trump is massively unpopular during a midterm, I think Sherrod Brown will win that seat just the way he won in 2018 during a midterm and overcame the Republican advantage here. So I don't know, but it's up to what he wants to do with the rest of his life. He's certainly old enough to have earned retirement. And there are a few other great candidates out there. Florida is a different beast and more difficult, I think, because of a younger male Latino population turning more conservative, more Trumpist, but maybe after deportations and firings, they'll rethink it, I hope. and also because of dumb white people who moved down there during COVID because they loved it during no COVID restrictions. I probably just got myself demonetized, by the way. And because they wanted to be free to breathe in toxic air and croak. You know, it's always a smart thing to do when you're old, white, fat, have diabetes, eat horribly, exercise like once every 4 months, and that's walking up like 4 flights of stairs, smoke, have spent your life in coal mines and enjoy it. You know, those guys, they move down because freedom. And so I think there's a lot more of these conservative idiots in Florida than there used to be. It used to get more moderate Midwesterners in some parts, some conservatives, but some moderates, and more liberal Northeasterners. And now there was a specific conservative move down there. So I don't know. But I'll tell you this, if we can win all 3 of those, plus it is kind of amazing. There's 2 big states now, this happens every time, that have governor's races. And we've got terrific candidates in both of them. Abigail Spanberger in Virginia and Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey. I've just named to you, I think, 5 of the top 12 or 13 states in the country, population-wise. Those 5 wins would be an absolute blowout for Republicans and, would set us up to win the House back. Tony's here, and so we're going to invite his Polish Ozarkian arse in here.
Yo.
What's up, dude? Can you come over here and just fix some crap around my studio?
Oh, what do you got going on?
Nothing. Tony sends me.
Is it falling apart?
It's like a taunt to an East Coast Jew. Building crap.
Yeah. Well, I'm working on my new studio. And,
with tools and stuff,
doing
and I'm here.
Stuff.
I'm here. I can't even keep sound panels up on the wall. So I may just pay for Tony to come visit.
Oh,
and be
okay.
Like, hey, Tony, I'm going to take you out to dinner. Now we're going to my office, and you're freaking fixing everything.
That sounds good. I might do that. I might go to Cincinnati for that.
Dude, we'll get you here. Get you to a Reds game. They're fun. Get you some Cincinnati chili, the best. All those people that attack Cincinnati chili, where you name the place and the time, and we'll have it out because you don't know what you're talking about.
Are you saying New Yorker Cincinnati has the best chili? Is that what you're saying?
I'm actually not saying that. Because I love.
But it is good.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. As much as I hate the state of Texas, I do like its chili, the way they make it. I dislike most other things there, like Wheels himself. Did you hear when Jasmine Crockett referred to him as Wheels?
Hot Wheels, yeah. Governor Hot Wheels.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. See, it's coming back.
And a lot of people like ableist, and I'm like, no, she's doing the right thing.
Nope, soon we'll actually be able to.
So were you just talking about the
person getting abandoned, getting angry about it? Go ahead.
Were you so speaking of Congress people, were you talking about the specials?
I was, because...
What are you seeing? Because I missed what you said. I had to run and do some things to come back.
But, hey, hold on. I have to say hello here to Jane Clark. It says, hello, everyone from Southwestern Ohio. Now you're talking. I'm here in Cincinnati, as you probably know. So I'm as Southwest Ohio as it gets. Tell me where you're from, Jane. I can even do the west side of Cincinnati thing.
Any case, I feel kind of...
Let me tell you what's up.
Yeah, go ahead with the specials. No, go ahead.
So what I was saying was the lead here today, and as you know, I've told people, we'll be a little sensationalistic here and there, but I will be honest. I believe in honesty, so I'm not going to be like, Donald Trump's urethra exploded, which would be funny, by the way. Urethra, everybody knows what that is, right?
That would be a good condition for him to get. I'm not going to lie.
It's not an important. Well, it is important to him, but it's not. He could live through it, I think. So I'm not
right.
Please,
we're not wishing any harm. Right.
Please, Secret Service, stay away from me. I don't want anything to do with you.
We're just using our imaginations, right?
Right. I mean, yes. I mean, look, if he had a little penal problem, that's all I was getting at there. Okay.
I mean, I think he has a lot of those problems, but
according to Stormy, it's a mushroom. So mushrooms sometimes don't grow or blossom. They. Okay, I'm gonna stop. So, the election, right? Much like Trump's penis, Republicans are going to have trouble going up in this election, and you knew right away. And as I said, it was sort of taking the DeLorean back to 2017, 18, like that period of time. You remember, Trump won. The country was like, what the hell did we just do? because he started opening his mouth, and we started winning in the most insane places that there were like 1 or 2 state Senate seats. I mean, seriously, there was, I think, one in like Pennsylvania that we lost by 40 points or something that we won. Like, it was crazy town, right? And we were routinely performing at 8 points or so, 8 to 10 points above where we normally would perform. And I think Roe obviously played into that too, but a lot of it was Trump. Well, this time, Roe is Elon Musk in terms of angering people. And so between Trump's, tariffs and Liberation Day, I just told people a story about a guy who wrote an interesting piece for the Huffington Post. He was like, I was fired just now for being American. This is now starting to happen. His Canadian employer, he was a subcontractor, ain't no civil rights laws in Canada protecting him for being an American. And they said, we're sorry, but with everything your president has done, we can't justify to the rest of our company keeping you on, blah, 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 blah. This guy had done apparently a perfectly fine or great job, and they fired him. And I think that's another sort of level that we haven't thought of yet. We've thought of them hitting us on the lumber market, right? We thought of them. I saw people even in northeastern Ohio and Michigan and places worried their electricity would be turned off by the Canadians, which if I were them, I would. I feel sorry for you folks up there, but if Canada wants to play hardball and show Trump what they could do, and that they were going to start, obviously jack up oil prices, all the things where they have an advantage. But we didn't think about the fact that our population is so much bigger than theirs. And so, we have many more people relying on employment through them than they have relying on employment through us. Just a numbers game. Maybe percent-wise, it's not that way, but numbers-wise. And if they want to, they can just start firing Americans to make them pay for what Trump is doing. So I was putting all of this in and saying the polling clearly is awful because Elise Stefanik, there are many reasons to not allow her to go to the UN, mostly because she's a reprehensible little boot of feces. But that wasn't their reasoning. That would be my reasoning. Their reasoning was they looked at a +9 Republican district.
That's crazy.
And they were convinced they were going to lose it.
I mean, think about that. Wait, hold on, because that's important. So they picked Elise Stefanik for UN ambassador because she lives in a +9 Republican district. And this was 2 months ago that they did this. Within 2 months, they have had to pull back her nomination from the UN ambassador, where they had a +9 advantage in that district that they knew they could slam dunk, that they know is not a slam dunk anymore.
There's an interesting one from Cynthia Rice that may be connected. Representative Luna, and I've said should be called Representative Lunatic. I mean, I'm not making a funny joke there. She's a nutball who was a Instagram influencer, because again, these are the types of people that become Republicans, and was pro-Obama, but the way, what's her name, the nutball in Arizona, ran for governor and senator. I can't even remember her name anymore, which is great. Carrie Lake was once a pro-Obama, but when it comes to like selling everything out for their careers, the way J.D. Vance once said he'd hold his nose and vote for Hillary Clinton when we were on NPR together. Like
Carrie, who is this Carrie that you speak of? I haven't heard from her.
Yeah, who knows where the hell she is? They probably had her.
she's probably vacuuming floors down at Mar-a-Lago.
She probably is. Putin sent her to a 5th floor hotel room, and maybe no one's heard from her since. In any case, Luna then sold out completely for the far right. So the fact that she quit the Freedom Caucus, I'm wondering if she did that to protect herself from because she needs to pretend she's more moderate, because she's actually from a relatively moderate district, or because they're not crazy enough for her. Who knows? We'll find out. But point being, Republicans in disarray. They're fighting like crazy, and they're angry at Musk because, again, Trump has already hurt them massively with the tariffs, so much so that, again, Elise Stefanik, a +9 seat. These were the kinds of seats that we were winning in. About 2017 through 2023, which is why so many of us were not ready for the 2024 results. And realizing, when Trump's on the ballot, again, he has this unique, weird right-wing charisma where at least he makes jokes. I don't find them funny, but people, at least he has a sense of humor, I guess I'll say, and makes jokes, and people on the right like it. And then he's got the whole "you're fired" semi-fame thing. WWE used to go on those stupid things. So the young guys, white guys, Latino guys, even a few more black guys turned out for him, and he turned some other groups around and whatever. But everybody else, this stuff doesn't work with. It absolutely repels in the other direction. And so we're seeing the same thing. And we saw it already in Iowa with the state Senate race, right? That was only a couple of weeks, a month after the election. Trump had already said enough stupid stuff. And the seat that they had won by 22 points, the lieutenant governor, and Trump had won by 21 or whatever. We won by 2 points. And we haven't had any chances to test that out since that I know of. And here we are. And Walls, the guy that likes to add reporters to secret signal chains about who we're going to bomb, where, when, how, and every other detail I can think of. He draws a little map for them and says, you are here, and bombs will land here. Our soldiers will be here. So
it's not classified information.
Exactly.
By the way.
And that's probably how they did it. It was like a drawing on his hand.
Right. It might be.
Well, Pete Hegseth, the problem is it got a little smudged because he was holding a bottle of Southern Comfort for too long. But I digress. So Walls, theoretically, that shouldn't even, that should be less of a race, because I looked all these up yesterday, being the crafty man I am. That is a plus 14 Republican seat. And they are worried they're going to lose it.
Which one?
The Walls seat in Florida.
Oh, gosh darn it.
And there's even a slight chance, I will not believe this until I see it.
Don't even say it. Don't say it. I know what you're going to say. Matt Gaetz. You're going to say is.
We're not going to win that. It's a plus 19 Republican seat. No. Even if we way outperform, but the whole point is if they were to lose one of their two seats, they have a 2-seated. I think we'd be tied. I don't even know with the current breakdown. I guess no, because Stefanik went back. So now they have a 3-seat advantage. So if we got this one more, then they would have a 2-seat advantage. And then if we won the Gates seat somehow, they would have a 1-seat advantage. But what I was telling people is, and that was the lead in my thumbnail, is that Republicans at this point in the House are so terrified of losing, because they're losers who only care about their political power, and hate Elon Musk so much for it, because they're scared, and they know if they had to go out and get a real job instead of being elected by the dumbest people in every part of our country to Congress, they'd probably be washing lettuce at the local McDonald's. So they realize that Congress is a pretty good gig when you're Lauren Boebert, right? And so they're freaked out about it, because about Elon Musk's being there, because it's kind of like he's compounding that problem. Obviously, people are being fired massively. We don't need to go through. We've gone through all of that stuff. It's like a double take. Trump's taking the tariffs and deportation side of destroying MAGA livelihoods, and Elon Musk is taking the firing government worker side of destroying MAGA livelihoods. And so they want Musk gone. They realized that they had to hitch Trump's wagon to get there, and they're all whores, so they're fine with that. But Musk can no longer do anything but harm them. And that's why you're starting to hear him leaving Doge, but they want him to completely lose his office in the White House and be pushed out, and the rest. So there was a Republicans quoted in an article. Of course, they wouldn't give their names because they're cowards, but they were members of Congress who were saying they hoped their party lost today, so that
can I tell you
Elon
why?
Musk would be forced out.
Can I tell you why? I'm sorry. I was looking at this Luna thing because you said lunatic, so I went and looked her up. Do you know why this whole drama is transpiring today?
With Luna? I do not.
With
but
lunatic. So this is the quote. Luna says on the floor.
The only thing I'll interrupt you with is we should call her by, it's kind of like with George Santos. Her actual name was Meyerhofer, and she didn't identify with her Spanish heritage at all. It was the German side. Until she realized identifying with the Spanish side and changing her name and lying about her background and all the other stuff could get her elected to Congress in that district. So just a normal JD Vance name, multiple name change Republicans, because normal people do that. Santos, Vance, Meyerhofer. Okay, right. Go ahead with Meyerhofer Luna.
Yeah, Meyerhofer Luna says on the floor, I collected 218 signatures and expanded the ability to vote while recovering from childbirth, not just for mothers, but young fathers and our governing body. Now leadership, because of the fact they don't like I was successful with this, are now trying to change the rules. So in other words, they don't want proxy vote for parents. and Luna wants proxy vote for parents, and leadership is blocking it because, go have kids on your own time, I guess.
So
I
Luna
don't know.
is actually being the more moderate, reasonable one here, which again tells you where the Republican Party is. Johnson made it illegal, I guess, or within the party to go out and and vote by proxy. I guess he said they can't do that, and then it turned out he did it like 19 times, probably while he was out at certain clubs. Because it seems you wrote a story on something about that. I don't know.
Who, me?
I saw some. Yeah, I saw you.
Oh,
wrote
no,
something
no.
about,
I made a
Johnson's penchant for partying in certain spots.
Well, I mean, on TikTok was saying that Mike Johnson may or may not be on the Tinder app. I don't know. I'm not on the Tinder app. I'm not in DC, so I wouldn't know. I'm just going based off what people are saying. And people on TikTok are saying.
And if they're saying it, I mean, again,
it must be true.
That's enough for Marjorie Taylor Greene to show Hunter Biden's junk in a
right
in a hearing and have to
exactly
calm herself down. So
yeah.
I guess
the other rumor I'd like to address here is that I've been suspended my channel, not me personally, because I don't think they can suspend me personally. But my channel has been suspended on YouTube, and a lot of people are asking about that in the chat. Like, where's my show been? My show has been going on for the last 2 days. I am suspended for a week. And Cliff, get this. The reason why I'm suspended is because I showed a video of Laura Loomer describing on her show, not my show, on her show last September about how she thought it was disrespectful that people were saying that she may have been doing certain things to curry favor with Donald Trump. One of those may be sex. And I got suspended for cyberbullying because that video was on my channel.
So you were cyberbullying this crazy person who chained themselves to the Twitter headquarters and has threatened numerous people. Like, I think to the point of where
I was reporting the fact that she was accused of having sex with Donald Trump and that she addressed it on her show, and I played the clip of her addressing on her show. How am I bullying her? How is that bullying?
I have the answer for how you're bullying. Okay,
yeah.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is part of a monopoly. A stupid, obnoxious, not do good, carefree, all the money we can stuff in our pockets, a-hole monopoly. It is the reason why when the kind folks, as I've made soft more announcements, and the hard launch will be in a week, when I had the 12-hour live stream I did on Substack, and we actually were lucky enough to break their live stream record in terms of numbers, and they offered me a show that they were going to promote every week starting next Thursday called Amped Up with Cliff Schechter, because Blue Amp, which is the name of my other company. Yeah, it's the name of my other company that does email fundraising, and then now it's also, it's the same company that also is at Substack, different than this, but it's enough. So Amped Up, and that's going to be at 2 p.m. and whatever, and Substack is going to promote it financially in other ways, and of course I have to. The rule is, and I've tried to explain that to folks here, so I hope you guys all understand this. I have to do it solely there. That's the deal. So you are going to have to listen to smart folks like Jim Williams and Lefty Gramps and others in here who have told you that it is great to subscribe to Substack. And frankly, if you don't even want to do anything over there, you don't have to, but you can subscribe. You get into Substack, open an account, you subscribe to me, to Blue Amp,
and to Tony, by the way.
Well, of course you subscribe to Tony too. and then once you do that, that's it. You can watch it over there, and you'll be able to see the Thursday one just like we're watching this today. You're just going to have to do that over there.
I've got Substack news too. I today was the first day I live streamed the Substack. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I was going to do it, and I realized I hadn't yet purchased the additional places to
from your,
and I didn't know, because I figured out how to do it, but I didn't know if that would kick in immediately or there'd be some weird delay. So I was like, I'm gonna get it after this, and tomorrow I will go. So tomorrow I will stream from here. You guys can all be here, but I will also stream to Substack and a few other spots. Might as well, if I'm going to spend the money to get the upgraded account so I can stream to more than 3 places, not just add a fourth. I'm on LinkedIn. I don't do a damn thing with it. I got 2,500 people there. I used to be, doing some more corporate nonprofit PR there, and I've already started putting up some of these things. And won't they be surprised at what an a-hole I actually am when it comes to politics? And yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I'm going to continue to stream the Substack. So if anyone wants to find me that hasn't been able to find me on YouTube, you can find me at my regular time on Facebook, Twitch, Substack, not YouTube, for at least the next 7 days. And honestly, to tell you the truth,
Thank you, Derek.
I don't know that I will live stream the YouTube again. It just kind of gets in my grill, man. I'm not excited about it. I'm not excited about live streaming on YouTube, a platform that, will cancel me and cancel my show for 7 days just because someone reported a video that says that they're cyberbullying, when all I did again was pull the clip from her show talking about it. That's it.
No, I know. I mean, look, we've gone through all of this. We've had these discussions. So, I mean, once Substack is saying to me, they're going to put resources behind me, and it's going to be the same time, same bat time, different bat channel, but same idea as what I did, have guests on. David Schuster will co-host some of them with me, who is a better anchor than I could ever be. And so, that just sells itself. I mean, all of that. So, I mean, that was not even a decision for me. The other decisions, when you talk about YouTube, I understand, because I get sick of worrying that I'm going to, again, today, I said, I said a couple no words, adult words, about, even one that pertains to a disease that people lie about. And so apparently I have to worry, and so, there are changes coming up. Thursday will be solely there. Wednesday will be here and there. And Tuesday, I've had to do a lot of thinking about this one, folks, because I am falling behind on, I'm not creating other videos that I need to create and whatever. And so I was trying to decide what I was going to do. You guys all know, because I've had him on the show before numerous times, and he has a podcast. He's very talented, Matt Robeson. And so instead of having to shut this one down, Matt Robeson is going to fill in for me for some of these. So you're going to get Matt for a lot of the Tuesday ones. He's a brilliant guy, and you'll enjoy him. And then I will pop my head back in here and do that too. But that's pretty much the plan going forward. Is just that there needs to, Substack is the place that is actively helping me grow the most, and therefore that is where I have to put in more time and these live streams, because of YouTube's behavior, with demonetizing me, with taking 2/3 of the damn revenue. I mean, it just, at some point, you're doing a lot for them to screw you over. So what I'm going to do is, I think the compromise I came up with was Thursdays on Substack, Wednesdays here, and Tuesdays I'm going to let Matt fill in for a bunch, and try to buy myself some more time to really grow there to a point where I don't care what YouTube does anymore, and then I can live stream here all the time and do everything I want to do here whenever I feel like it. I don't know. That's all I can come up with.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, I know Substack's streaming platform isn't quite up to speed yet, and they're trying to work on getting it there. I know a lot of people are live streaming over there, and I think it'll get better and better as they grow to have an archive. They grow to be able to find old live streams easier, and creators are sending those messages, are trying to,
like this one right here from MJ. And you should know MJ. I've talked to them over there. The 12-hour one that I did actually broke them. Like, I wasn't joking in the name of my article I wrote after that. We actually broke them. They couldn't get us all 12 hours because nobody had done it before. And after about 3 hours, like, the system broke down. So they are working on making it better. But I do have to tell you, there's people that proactively reach out to you and say, can we help you with stuff over there? And then there's people at YouTube who wouldn't answer a phone call or email or anything if I sent it 1,000 times. I am nothing to them. I don't exist. My 114,000 or whatever subscribers I have, it doesn't matter because they've got Mr. Beast and whoever the hell else those folks are, and that's who this platform is built for. People that want to do silly and goofy things, which is okay. I do silly and goofy things sometimes. I'm not judging them, but don't want to ever talk about really serious stuff like politics, and just want to build a huge channel with 25 million people doing whatever, and that's what they want. That's what their mission is: make money. That's all they care about. And so I'm never, even if I reach the top of the political realm, I'd only have a couple million subscribers here, and so that's never going to be enough for them to. And again, that does not mean that I'm saying please subscribe to me here. I'm going to be making more of the medium level videos with some of the extra time I have when Matt fills in for me on Tuesdays. I'm going to try to make some extra content and do some of this kind of stuff. Maybe what I'll do with Matt sometimes is I'll join him here sometimes for a half hour, and jump off and do the stuff I need to do. It's just a matter of there's no doubt that YouTube is not doing anything to try to help this live stream grow. Nothing. You know what I mean? And they never will.
I mean,
these are things you have to take into account.
I think YouTube, their service, as far as not just for the viewers but the creators, is shittier than Substack's ability to live stream. So if that, I think MJ actually said that in the chat that, yeah, as a matter of fact, YouTube's creator service and customer service, Google in general, their service is shittier than Substack's ability to live stream.
There actually really almost is no customer service. Like it's almost a non-existent, again, the first time and the only time that I'm sure now that I said that I'll do it again, but the only time I've been demonetized a bunch of times where they won't give me money for a video because I say a bad word. But I've only been suspended once in the way Tony was just now. And that is because I tried to explain to people why Trump was lying about 2020. And I can't even say certain words. They were all happen again. And they took that as I was promoting that BS and decided that I was a conspiracy theorist, and they were therefore going to suspend me for a week. And after reaching out through every contact I could think of, and this, by the way, is the only time anybody's ever responded to me from there, when all the issues I've had or whatever, it took them 5 days. They got back to me like, "You're right. We're wrong. Sorry. We're immediately reinstating you." Like, honestly, acting like they're doing something great for me, like it's some social good and they're being wonderful. And I'm like, well, you crushed that live stream. You've killed my entire momentum. I was growing pretty well at the time. You've made it so I can't make any income, anything off of any videos now for 5 days. And you're allowing me back on because but you're not saying you're sorry, because you probably think that I'd have a legal case or something. So all you're just saying is, they use whatever legal language to say, oh, it may have been done in error. Yes, may have been, as in you fucked up. And what ended up happening was, that's it. Did they sit there and try to calculate the money I lost and pay me back? Nope. They made a mistake. I paid the financial price. Nobody apologized to me. Ignore, go on. That is who they are. And I've never forgotten that lesson since then. So when other places treat me better, put resources behind me, show that they believe in what I'm doing, show they think that I should be supported, what's the common sense thing there? Again, I wish it were a platform I could just say, screw it, and maybe someday I will. For now, I'm still, even while I'm saying this, I'm just going to say Substack is my priority because they're helping me. But YouTube is still a great megaphone to reach a lot of people, to convince people, to get messaging out there. And therefore, I'm still going to be I'll be putting up more medium length videos than before. Now that I won't be doing the full Tuesday one here every week all the time, and so that I will be able to use some of that time to do that, because I think those videos have more of a shot of going viral, and then Matt can fill in here and I can help out when I can, and we'll all be happy.
Happy go lucky. Well, I'm going to have to leave this happy party here. And I appreciate you having me on today so I can make my appearance on YouTube, even though it's because I can't be on my channel because I got it suspended.
Oh, that's right. So I'll let you back on. If you beg me, Tony, I'll let you come on here so you can be on YouTube. And Tell
Yeah,
all
just
your
so I can be on
friends that
YouTube.
you're
Just so I
tell all
can
your
be on
friends you're
YouTube.
on YouTube.
I was on YouTube today. So if you want to watch my show, go to Substack, but go to theTonyMichaels.com. You can watch it Twitch, Facebook, if you want on XGen or Rumble. But Substack, I'll be broadcasting from there from now on. So everybody, thanks. Thanks, Cliff. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, take it easy, man. So there you go, guys. That was a lot of what I really, at one point, whenever that fine young man named Tony was going to leave, I was going to talk to you about is just sort of the changing landscape. And I'd already spoken to you about Thursdays last week. So, I just needed to talk to you about the Tuesday situation today. And essentially, 3 live streams with all that. Tony, well, he's also younger than me, but you have a family and all that. I'm trying to get more videos up at YouTube so it can grow more, and it's hard. And then the Substack thing is growing, and that is why I want you to still get value. And so I think substituting in Matt for some of these will work very well because he is very talented and has hosted a podcast forever and has interviewed the likes of Jamie Raskin and Sheldon Whitehouse and you name it. So he is pretty damn good. What else do we have going on? I told you a couple stories already that were interesting, but I almost sort of went into many of them. The April 5th nationwide protests, hands off 2025 protests in your area. That is a good thing to talk about. And I like that. I was going to talk, I already kind of went into the guy who got the letter and that he was fired for being American, which is nice. So I want to make sure that I'm putting this in here so I can give you all the deets, as the kids say, on April 5th, because I know what's going on, but I don't know what their formal pitch is. So here we go. On April 5th, national and local organizations are coming together across the country to organize for hands off a mass activation in defiance of the Trump-Musk billionaire takeover and the Republican assault on our freedoms and communities. That's a no-brainer, guys. Who knows what day? Say the 1st. It's on Saturday. Well, which makes sense. The weekend. Maybe I'll go to the one in Cincinnati here and see if I can snap you some photos, or get some video. That might be nice. Yeah. So that's the handoff. Those are the hands-off rallies. You should look up one. You can go here. Trying to see where the best site for you to go is, but you can go and I think put in your local zip code, and they will tell you where the closest one is. This is about the one in DC. We don't want to talk about that. I mean, not that we don't want to talk about that, but that'll be the easiest one for you guys to find stuff on. So here we go. Look at that. They've got them planned. South Bend having one in Indiana. Pretty sweet. They're going to have one in Michigan City. Ooh, St. Joseph. Wow, we've gone up there a couple times. It's a real nice town on the water. Isn't that cool? Well, that's the Michigan layout. I would just encourage you all to go and I mean, you can just put hands off rally and go and find the local one. But the important thing is the messaging about all of this, right? And it's everything that I've been talking about so far this show. Again, like somebody said in the comments there, yeah, there you go. Look at that. Well, Sean Newhouse, we should have up with the effing ads every other minute. There's that. But I wasn't going to talk about that. They control the ads. This used to be the very definition of monopoly. If a company was big enough, upstream or downstream, wherever you want to look at it, so that one part of a company could force you to use a different part of a company. And this is the very definition of monopoly because it is an unfair business practice. It ends up killing competition. And so what is Google AdSense's motivation, or YouTube's for that matter, to do anything better? There is none. It's the reason why those are some of the most important business regulations that exist, because everything is better when companies are not monopolies. When companies are smaller, they know their workers better. It's a lot harder to treat them terribly, right? It is a lot harder easier for a large corporation with tons of cash to strike down against, no pun intended, against workers who want to organize. They have the money, resources, connections to do that. It's much easier for them to destroy the environment. They don't care. They're not located in any one area. Maybe when you live there and it affects you, you think about it. I mean, these large international monopolies are like the bane of human existence. And they lead to what they've led to. I mean, Elon Musk is the most obvious example. I mean, that and a pile of ketamine bigger than Tony Montana's pile of cocaine. But, you know, I mean, he's a crazy person. And he's a crazy person. It wasn't enough that he was using his companies, in his monopolistic practices, but now, he's going into government. Representative Stansbury had a great speech the other day pointing out all the things he had done. I don't remember where he went into. One of the administrations he made them, one of the places he went into where there was a communications contract in one of the agencies. Was it the FAA? It may have been the FAA. He went in and didn't renew, made sure they didn't renew with the company, their vendor they'd worked with. Who do you think they hired? Why, Starlink, of course. I mean, it's just a big money grab. And that's what happens when people and companies get that big. They don't fear anything. They don't believe in anything. They're evil. If they ever had any humanity, it's gone. Because I know somebody who knew Jeff Bezos when he was younger, and Jeff Bezos once actually, that's the only one I can speak to. I don't know some of these other ones, but Jeff Bezos a long time ago once actually had some humanity. And now he literally looks like a James Bond villain. I mean, dude, you can't pull off the shaved head and those glasses. You're a dork. We can look back 20 years ago, when you had like a haircut out of The Office. You're just a loser. Accept it. And, maybe stop trying to show off your girlfriend everywhere when she's not clothed. God, to go from his wife who has so much class to that. In any case, if you did ever have any humanity, being in that situation, we have no accountability to anyone, will kill it. And honestly, being a billionaire who's the head of a monopoly is pretty much like being a dictator. You have no accountability. Nobody can make any rules for you. You can treat workers like crap, consumers like crap, whatever. And that's where we come back around to the Google and the AdSense problem, which is they don't care. I can complain all I want. I have to use Google AdSense. That should be illegal. AdSense should have to compete with 20 other entities at least for my business, but they don't. That's why we are where we are. And that obviously describes Meta, that dorky incel loser running it. That obviously describes what? Well, we already went into Amazon, Walmart, who like parasites, like locusts, have gone from town to town in this country and destroyed every local shop, have taken the local flavor out of every town. We can go on and on, but you get it. I don't really think you guys understand what I'm talking about. It was one of the best things that Joe Biden did is the antitrust division, putting what's her name, Lena, in charge of it. And they took a number of actions. And remember, they had hostile Republicans trying to block everything they did. That was probably one of the best parts of the administration. And obviously, I wish they'd done a lot more. I wish they could have done a lot more. And maybe they could have and they didn't. I don't know fully. But we'll never fully get back our country until we break, these 15, 20, 30 ridiculous monopolies in different parts of our country till we break them up into pieces. They're gross is what they are. Yeah. So that's as far as Gumper say. Well, that's all I got to say about that. I'll probably have more at some point. That was a good one. And that started with the hands-off march, because again, you need to go to that. If the hands-off march, the messaging looks really solid on that. They are targeting the Trump administration and billionaires who are destroying our country and taking away our rights. And that is the right way to look at it, because billionaires and monopolies, and Trump is part of all of that. And Musk obviously is that. That's what's doing all this to us. So I may try to get out there on the 5th. I agree with this, Veronica. Couldn't agree more. I once or twice, and I'm serious, man. Like I'm not perfect about boycotting everywhere because there are a lot of places. Try my best. When I saw what, because sometimes there's just no good options. They all suck, right? But you also can make comparative, analyses of places, and Walmart is so evil, is so awful. I mean, how many members of that family are billionaires? 10, 15, I don't even know. And workers don't have health care and getting locked in certain places. And I mean, they're just so gross. So I gotta tell you, like once or twice, I had to go to Walmart to get a prescription because Kroger or somebody like that, and I'm not saying they're perfect either, but far better than Walmart, was out of what I needed. And I try to describe. Often tried to describe the feeling to people in like the '90s and now very late '90s, like '99, or really more the 2000s, when I would go and do Fox News debates, and I would walk into Fox News and I felt like I was leaving America. Like I had this eerie Pravda like feeling, like I was in this foreign place, this dictatorial kind of everybody's staring at you, like looking at what you're doing. Like I can't even. It's like the aesthetic of tyrants. Like you don't even feel like you're in the United States. That's how I feel like when I walk into Walmart. It feels gross. I feel like I'm in a developing world dictatorship in the manner in which they take advantage of everybody, from consumers to workers to just everybody. So the two times I can think of I had to go in there, I just went and got my prescription, got the hell out of there so quickly. Like I honestly, I feel gross just being in there. Um, so yeah, there's my feeling about that. Um, what else do we have going on in the comments, my friends? You know, Veronica, being the Floridian that you are, one of the coolest things that they would say when I went down 2 weeks ago, it's 2 weeks now, we can have go to Key West for a spring break thing, is they would remind you that we were closer to Cuba than we were to a Walmart by a there's a huge differential, which made me very happy for that part of Florida, which is one of the reasons I love Key West so much. That and the FU DeSantis were requiring masks when he ordered them to every locality to not require masks, and Key West just was like, screw you, we're requiring them. We don't care what you say. Um, so uh, so basically, I love that stat that they wouldn't let Walmart in there or anywhere around there. Just made me happy. Um, those Walmart tactics did not fly in Europe by natural born skeptic. No, they did not, because again, when you have a robust anti-monopoly law and you have robust worker protections and environmental protections and consumer protections, a place like Walmart cannot. They could never thrive in places like that. Um, US is the best thing we have going on in Florida. Everything else is terrible. With the least offense possible. Oh, Key West, Ponticus, is that how you pronounce it? Ponticus is very blue. It's uber blue. Let me explain to you. I should have taken pictures, took pictures of some cool things. First of all, there are roosters that wander the streets because they were there before people, I guess. And the rules are, if you touch a rooster, you will go to prison. So they're just roosters with their cute little babies wandering the street. Sometimes they're cute little babies, but they're always, cock-a-doodle-dooling, and it's hilarious. It's like it is a part of the. You know what? I may give you that aspect of, because I have it on my phone. I caught one during that period of time when he decided that he would show his strength and wisdom to this dude. Where's the dude? I think it's this guy. Let's see. You guys get that? There you go. You just hear that in the streets walking around there. It's hilarious. But I was going to say before, when somebody asked me if it was blue, they have in a number of parts on their main street, Duval, the crosswalks are rainbow colored crosswalks. They're rainbow colored flags. It is as blue gets. They reject everything about the rest of Florida. It is so close to Cuba that there's a lot of great Cuban food and Haitian food and integration of those people there and who are not discriminated against. There are live drag shows on Duval, open and proud and not apologizing or hiding. Um, so it's the one place in Florida I like. I pretty much can't stand anywhere else. except for where Veronica lives. I'm sure where she lives, it's totally fantastic. Those damn Key West chickens kept me up all night from Chris. Well, yeah, you gotta be able to sleep well. I'm surprised though. They usually do it in the morning and later in the day. I don't know about all night, but maybe I just sleep really well. Or you need to indulge in a few more key lime coladas, which is one of the best drinks ever made. And it's hard to hear anything. Sloppy Joe's, there you go. Yeah, Sloppy Joe's is fun there. It is a cool place. A whole bunch of cool places. Hemingway lived there. His house is still there with the 6-fingered cats that they bred. Truman, not a Republican, an old Truman used to go down there. That is where he spent his time instead of Bedbug Largo when he would go on vacation. And so they've got his home down there has been turned into it's not his official library. Obviously, that's Independence, Missouri, where he's from. But down there, they've got it. It's sort of like a museum. And has some of his papers and things. It's just a cool place. There's Veronica. She's ripping on Miami. So if any of you Miami defenders want to come in there and just say, Veronica, that's just wrong. I no longer shop at Walmart. Good job, Sheldon. All right, folks. Today I can't stay as long because I have a son who needs to be picked up from school. But I still have some more time, about 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes. I don't need to do a who's coming with me yet, but I will remind you that, again, the more that I am supported by you folks, the less that the SOBs at YouTube, that what they do harms me. So if you have a super chat just burning away in your pocket or a super sticker, I could use those. Again, the schedule going forward, I will be here for the full Wednesday. I will be on Substack for Thursday, and I will pop in here some Tuesdays. And Matt Robeson will be hosting a bunch of Tuesdays also. And again, that's all in the greater good, the longer term, because if I get some of those Tuesdays off, I can use that time to build the YouTube channel to where I don't have to care as much because we have more subscribers. We end up doing better. Once you reach a certain subscription level, then you have some built-in funds from their monopolistic ads, but it helps. And then what I need to do on Substack, and so that's the reason why the way I just to sadly step off Bob Seska's show because I couldn't fit it in, and I had to stop doing Hal Sparks's every week. I will be on Hal tomorrow, which is unusual, usually on Monday. But I don't think I've been on a house show in 3 weeks at this point, but that was a lot because of the flu and going away. That went from being every week to every other week. And these are all for reasons, again, like Substack is blowing up. I've tried to say that to folks and I keep saying, hey, can you please go and subscribe there? Again, we're at about 600,000 unpaid subscribers. We're like one of the top 10 or so on there, which is hugely helpful to us. And I think I see Matt Robeson here now. So I'm going to let him in 1 second. But that is, and again, that just gives me the ability to at that place, 600,000 means something. at YouTube, not only is my 100 something thousand not mean anything, but I promise you that even at 600,000, YouTube doesn't care that I exist. Let's have Matt come in. Matt, I've been telling him about a plan. And that plan is that you're going to start filling in on a bunch of Tuesdays.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
I can't hear you. So let's start with that. Wow, Matt's the one with microphone problems now, not me. That's my thing. You're stealing my thing, Matt.
Woohoo.
Still can't hear you. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me now?
Can you send us some signals of some sort? Like,
oh no.
Did you have a carrier pigeon handy? No? Well,
all right.
It's not going to work out well if we can't make that work.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah, Matt was having trouble with his laptop overall earlier. Oh, you can hear him? I just can't hear him? That's hilarious. Sheldon, thank you for saying you missed my appearances on Hal's show. Again, I'm supposed to be on every other week. It's been kind of both of us. That is hilarious. So you guys can hear Matt. I can't hear Matt. Matt, can you hear me? Matt, can you hear me? I'm going to take that as a no. Wow, is that weird? All right, let's see what's going on. I don't. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I know what it is. Matt, you there? Oh, he left. Matt left. I bet he'll try to come back. So it looked like it switched my speaker over also to where my mic is. It does things like this because it's stupid. You know, I used to be like, is it my fault? Yeah, it's not my fault anymore. This thing is dumb. D-U-M, dumb. I'm tired of it doing this. All right. Can you hear me still? We still on? We should be. Let's see. No, it may not be. Oh, Matt's back. Let's see now.
All right.
Yep. It was. I think it was my fault. My speakers had switched over to my mic. Because why would they do that? Why would the output system switch to my mic? Because none of this makes sense.
Well, it doesn't have to. I like that. I've joined from my phone, so you get to see me in that awesome fisheye view where, look, if I do this with my arms, I look extremely strange.
Well, you know what? You also can turn this, now that it's like vertical like that, you can turn this into like 427 shorts afterwards if you talk long enough. So you can really just sort of get yourself enough shorts that you're set all year.
Isn't there something really weird about the way we interact with each other over platforms to try to condense us into little short snippets of thought? Really great. Enjoying the AI takeover of the world very much.
Yeah, I like I love algorithms and how they determine stuff. Do you realize that, like, you know, the kinds of videos and the kind of normal stuff, it's not even normal stuff because I don't think we actually do much that's that sensationalistic in the actual, like, content. It's that you have to create a more sensational, and I refuse to go certain places, but a more sensational, thumbnail and title, because that's what their algorithm prioritizes. And if it didn't, if it wasn't just let's bring in the most number of people possible and make the biggest amount of money, can you imagine if you just put up a normal one, like, and you didn't have to fill it with shocking and whatever. And like, you should all know I hate doing that, but the alternative is honestly is just leaving YouTube, because as tough it is to build a channel and do all of this on YouTube, if you refuse to play their little game with headlines or whatever, and I told you I refuse to fully play it. I will not. I'm not putting breaking in front of stuff unless it is something actually that's breaking. I've done that a couple times because it's been something breaking. Otherwise, I won't do it. I won't, like.
Ooh,
I'm not gonna.
You do breaking America because it's true.
Right. I've done that a few times, things like that as a joke, like, because it's funny. But basically, all of that. I just, So what I told them all is, when I can, I'm going to jump back in here on Tuesdays, and host, here and there. You're certainly are going to be away sometimes. You're going to be busy sometimes and whatever. But we're going to, for a while, so I can get a lot of the Substack stuff done and more YouTube videos out. You're going to take over as a host on Tuesday and host a lot of these. And, whenever they get to the point where they desperately miss me, I'll jump back in for I'll come back again. It's all going to depend. I just need some extra time on some Tuesdays definitively for some things I'm doing. And Matt is smarter than I am, so you'll enjoy having him.
Elon. I'm the Elon to your Donald. I'm arriving with a chainsaw. I'm here.
So I'm wearing a diaper. Is that what you're saying?
Well, look, we can't see your lower half. Mine either. Another great thing. It's like, I promise to people out there, I'm not some AI avatar. Like, I actually exist. At least I think I do. I don't know.
He doesn't. Hey, did you notice how I put the nice mini chainsaw in the thumbnail with Elon? I snuck it in there next to him, a small chainsaw. Because really, that How could you not give a guy credit from a gig he completely stole from somebody else, a leader of a foreign country whose economy is crashing because that guy's following the same exact policies in Argentina that he wants to follow, Musk wants to follow here. So how could you not, rip off something from another failure and use it as your own thing as you're failing? So you're not even failing and original. You're failing and unoriginal. At least that guy was original and a failure. But Musk always has to take
Hey,
it to another level.
Speaking of failures, hey, can I set you up? I'm totally going to set you up
I'm
for
married.
failure here.
Sorry,
I think the
no.
audience is going to love this. Hey,
I'm married, dude. You're not
I'm
setting me up with
setting you up for failure. Here you go. You ready? We got
okay.
3 huge elections happening right now, live. I'd love to see. I can't see what people are saying in the chat currently, but I would love
about those.
Okay, so what's your prediction? I don't want like analysis. I want numbers. What's your prediction, man?
My prediction is we're going to win in Wisconsin, even though he, did he give out that $1 million check? Right? There's a
I
picture or
think
something.
it was still subject to a judge's stay.
How is it not illegal?
I'm not paying you for voting. I'm paying you for showing up to vote. See? It's different.
No, yeah. Paying somebody to register, which you have to do to show up at that place, is the same idea. I don't see how that is different. And again, it's so embarrassing. I guess I've stopped almost getting embarrassed, but I do have friends abroad in France, and look at what France just did. Again, look at how everybody else protects their democracy. I don't even care whether she embezzled the money or not. They're like, nope, no Marine Le Pen. Romania, nope, that far right guy that Putin supports, they found a way to disqualify him. Everybody else does. Merrick Garland had 4 fucking years, but no, can't find a way to disqualify the guy that started an attack on our capital. Can't do that. Whereas these other countries make sure to, the failure of our people to act. But it is embarrassing. And here's this guy offering $1 million checks, and you're just like, this is so ridiculous. The appearance of this is so ridiculous that it should be stopped right away anyhow. And that it even, but all aside, I don't care. I like in Wisconsin, in an off year without Trump on the ballot, with everybody hating Trump and hating Musk right now, I love our chances. So I'm going to pick that we win there. Sadly, if I'm being realistic, I know they were scared about the Walz seat. They were so scared that obviously that we talked about this earlier. They pulled Stefanik out of the UN, or didn't let her go to the UN to screw that job up, because a +9 seat their polling was telling them they're going to lose. So what that tells me is, unless they had the incumbent, well, actually, she doesn't have to run if she stays, so no. But what that tells me is the +14 seat is going to be really close. I don't think I can predict we're going to win it. I want to. I can predict that we're massively going to overperform.
That's the 6th district, not Matt Gaetz'.
That's the Walz. Yeah, Gaetz' seat is ridiculous. It's a +19 Republican seat. I mean, they again, like, I don't see how we win there. The +14 seat, I give us, which still is bigger chance than we should ever have, maybe a 1 in 4 chance of winning. But I would tell you, if I have to pick, we lose by about 2 to 3 points. That it gets close. That we get so much closer than we should get. Because again, the whole lead to this show today was that some Republicans are actually rooting for their party to lose, because with Stefanik back, they'll hold the majority, and they want Elon Musk gone. And they realize Trump's tariffs and deportations are already killing them with inflation and their voter groups. But they can't do anything about that because they hitched their wagon to him. Whereas Musk, if they can get rid of him, then
they can throw him under the bus for it. Yeah,
exactly. Because he's so unpopular in all the government firings and all of that.
And I'll just say that, look, I think Democrats would be well within their rights if we come up close but no cigar. I think, especially in those 2 Florida races, which is overwhelmingly likely to be the case, I think Democrats would be well within their rights to say, well, horseshoes and hand grenades, it's nice, but there's really no consolation prizes. But I would say that in this case, I think there is a consolation prize. I think if we come up short, but it's close, there's an idea in economics called the hoteling paradox, which basically holds that you can hold prices down even if there's just a threat of competition, if there's a threat that someone else might come in and undercut you and beat you.
It's hilarious because we talked about monopolies today a lot too. Go ahead.
Right. That's where it comes from. It comes from the study of slots for airlines at different airports. And just the idea that a competitor could come in restrains them, in theory, from raising their prices too much, although you wouldn't be able to tell it if you've flown recently. And I think the same thing is very much true when it comes to Congress and Republican policies. There are only 9 Republican-held seats that, according to the Cook Political Report, are really like on the bubble. But the expanded kind of like wave size number of seats goes up to like 32. So
yeah, we've already seen that before. And again, we're back to where we were in the 2017 to 2023,
Right.
period of time, skipping 2020 when we still won a bunch of things or Trump was on the ballot, but it was closer. Again, Trump has that weird, at least he makes jokes. They tend to be sexist, racist, obnoxious, horrible. The right finds them funny. So he has this right-wing charisma and this whole, you're fired, sort of cheesy fame thing from WWE to his stupid TV show to all the rest, where he's able to win more people, and then you take him aside, as I said to people earlier, you start looking at some of the other ones, JD Vance, Elon Musk, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Tom Cotton. Like, the amount of charisma in that group I just mentioned it's an event horizon for charisma, is what it is. You end up in like
they're truly the orcs in the Dungeons and Dragons universe.
You end up in the movie Interstellar, being sucked into a black hole and ending up somewhere across the galaxy. Is what ends up happening. So
is this a nerd reference race to the bottom? You're talking Interstellar. I'm talking D&D. I mean, come on. I
don't know. I think you win with D&D. I as much as self-deprecating as I am, I think D&D may have to win over Interstellar, but I can try to get more nerdy. Let me think about Star Trek for a second.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah.
Yeah,
so that's. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win in really Wisconsin, and I think
that I think Republicans. Yeah, I mean, just on my show yesterday, actually, I posted it today. I had our mutual friend Bill Scher, who is the politics editor of Washington Monthly, and he's sort of been making the case recently that, look, things are awful. They're bad, bad, bad. We're not going to sugarcoat that for anyone, but there are at least a few glimmers of hope, silver linings, sun breaking through the clouds, whatever metaphor you want. And, one of them is that you're beginning to see Republicans getting skittish and getting nervous. When you're talking about a 4-seat majority in the House, a 4-seat majority in the U.S. Senate, and bubble senators, bubble House members starting to get very nervous as they see these numbers come in. They see a plus 15 Pennsylvania State Senate district go down to the Democrats. You can start to see that hem in their behavior a little bit.
And that when it happened in Iowa, it was a 22 or 24 point turnaround.
Exactly.
It's going to be interesting because again, I talked at the beginning, we've got these 3, it's in this very unusual situation, these 3 huge, and they're huge because, I mean, let's call them larger states, Senate races this year in an off year because of special elections and whatever, Florida, Georgia, and Ohio. And without Trump on the ballot, I think we're going to win. I mean, again, unless they can cancel elections, suppress, really absolutely cheat in massive ways. And I'm not saying they can't. I hope we can fight it. But if there's anything remotely close to fair elections, you're sideways now.
Wow. I just went sideways. I'm going to put myself up on the stand. There we go.
I think Ossoff wins. I think that, and I don't even think it's necessarily that close. I think that if Sherrod Brown runs again the way he won in 2018, he overperformed Kamala Harris here by 8 points just a few months ago. That's how much better he did. He only lost by a little bit over 3 points. He will win against almost anybody without Trump on the ballot if he runs. The question is, will he run? Because he's in his early 70s and he may just be done. If he doesn't run, then, the bench is weak because we've lost so many races. So the question is, who would run next and would they be any good? And I can't answer that question right now. If we get a good candidate, we can still win. Florida is tougher. Admittedly, I think they Republicans won there at the top of the ticket by a few more points, and people may remember that in 2022, that was one of the states where they didn't crash and burn like they did in most states. They've convinced a lot of Latino men, especially younger ones, sadly, and a lot of the dumb whites of the North moved down there for their lack of restrictions around that disease. I'm not supposed to say on here because YouTube's for children, and I don't know if we can overcome that or not. Florida is the one that I'm not sure is a swing state in any way anymore. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope we can overcome. I mean, look, if we can overcome a 10, 15, 12, whatever point thing without Trump at the top of the ticket and we have a good candidate, because that would be huge. We swept those three and then we won in two other big states, the governor's races in New Jersey and in Virginia. That'd be a hell of a butt kicking and send a message for next year. But again, we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out.
Right, absolutely. I mean, look, again, I don't think either of us is in the business of trying to sugarcoat, and there's plenty to be really down in the mouth about. But these things do matter. And look, I spent a decade working not only in Congress for Democratic members of Congress, but consistently for members of Congress who are in swing districts. So I felt the pressure as a congressional chief of staff and campaign manager from the other side of it. It does affect your behavior. It does. And you can even see it in the data. Political scientists have looked at this. It does affect your behavior. And so where would you start to see that shake out on the margins? In some of the votes for judges, which is a huge, critical issue in the Senate, in some of the budget votes that we see coming up. And, like skin of their teeth type numbers on budgets. And that's where the rubber really meets the road on the worst of these Trump policies, the worst of the Trump cutting. So it matters. And it's like, I know it sounds like I'm grabbing for glimmers of silver lining, but they are there. And so fingers crossed for today. And look, if it doesn't happen, if we don't come up that close, there's still some other good indicators. I mean, Trump's slide in the polls is really significant. We got some new numbers from Navigator this morning showing that Trump is very far underwater, especially when it comes to tariffs and the economy. That's sort of like the central tentpole of
issues. And he's so stubborn on that stuff. That's what's great, is he's too stupid to change course. So, I mean, it's not really great. I mean, I don't want our country to suffer, and I don't want, it's kind of, you're stuck between, in some ways, it's you can't win, but the lesser of two evils is having economic bad times and winning enough seats in enough places that we have more controls on Trump, because he's dangerous. He's an existential danger, whereas bad economic times for 6 months or a year are not an existential danger. We can come back from that. So I think I have to go with that. I'm going to have to go, actually, Matt, because I have a child to pick up. So
yours?
That is what I have. And yeah, I drive around looking for random ones in a paneled van. Okay, I'm not going to make that joke.
You and Matt
I just
Gaetz.
did. Yeah. Well,
it's great to see everyone. I'm looking forward to making this more of a regular thing, and we'll do some kind of we'll basically run this back as a little bit of a handoff next week, right? And then we'll
we'll do that. And as I said to people, I'll be back here and there but for a bunch of months, there's just stuff that needs to get done so that the whole project of Substack and YouTube is bigger and better. So we will do that. That's about it. I think that's what we have to say. So I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow, and we'll chat more about this.
All right. Fingers crossed for Florida and Wisconsin, guys.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have great stuff to talk about tomorrow. Okay.
Awesome.
So I'm not going to even do pull my Jerry Maguire, who's coming with me this time at the end to ask you guys for super chats and stickers, like I normally do. That's my little thing I do, Matt. Works sometimes it doesn't, but I have to run. So
later, everyone.
Tomorrow. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for being here. I have to repeat my closing phrase, which I always say, which is, as the sun sets slowly in the west, I bid you a fond farewell.